You're tuned in to the Foxboro BeatCast, a podcast for Patriots fans by Patriots fans. And here are your hosts, is Kaleb McChesney and Ryan Moore.
Hello and welcome to the Foxboro BeatCast, everybody. I'm your host, Kaleb McChesney. Alongside me, my co-host, Ryan Moore, and we have brought back a special guest, one of my favorites from this season, if not, not one of. He is definitely my favorite of the people that we've had on here. It's not even close. We've had a lot of good people here. BR a couple of weeks ago, we had Matt Kuchar of Belly Up Sports. We had
Ken.
We had Ken
Disrespect on. Ken like that. Wow.
I was
about to say, wow.
Listen, Ken's a legend, but Trent, excellent work on your first episode. Excellent work when you came on the beat sides, and I expect this again to be excellent work. Welcome back to the show. What's been up?
Nothing much. Just watching my team, get ready to play for a national championship. It's big hours here in the Osborne house. Colts playoff game this Saturday. I'll be on the sideline working.
Yeah, I heard you were going to be there.
Yeah, I'll be holding a light panel for the sideline reporters. So I don't know if Lisa Salters is doing that game. It would be really cool if she was, but yeah, every Colts game I've ever been in attendance for, they've gotten smacked. So hopefully that changes this weekend.
Right. Ryan, it's been a week. How are we feeling?
Feeling great. Been working on stuff, but I'm feeling great.
Happy New Year, everybody.
Yeah.
2024, the Patriots closed out 2023 with an all too familiar loss. 27-21 to the Buffalo Bills. Bailey Zappi, 3 first half interceptions. You just can't give a good team like Buffalo 3 free turnovers and expect to win, but team play hard. I don't know if that's because Buffalo might be out of gas and might be in trouble, or if the Patriots are just constant overachievers, but maybe it's a little bit of both. But they kept it close, lost 27-21. We're all here for moral victories at this point because there's no actual real victories when it comes to the New England Patriots. But the game could have been won, but some fans are okay with that, as they now hold the 3rd pick in the NFL draft. That could turn into the 2nd if certain things fall into place that I'm sure Trent and Ryan know all about, that we'll go over a little bit later. But this week, New England closes the season at home against the Jets in what's forecasted to be a snowy Sunday at Gillette Stadium with 10 inches of snow projected throughout the day. We'll get to that game, the stories that go behind it. Obviously, there's a real legitimate chance that this is Bill Belichick's last game coaching the New England Patriots. We'll go over the importance of that. We'll go over some of the players that we want to see, some of the players we might never see again, and some of the stories around the league. I know Trent has a thought about Trevor Lawrence that he's been holding on to us for a couple of weeks that I am not all but I'm very much looking forward to. So let's just kick this right off. Let's talk about that Bills-Patriots game really quick. Let's keep it brief. Let's go over some of the thoughts we had from the Buffalo game. Trent, feel free to take a breather if you didn't see it. If you have any thoughts, feel free to chime in. But Ryan, 27-21, we lost to Buffalo. Is there anything that you really took away from that you found interesting? Or
yeah, you know what? I think the Patriots might have figured out Josh Allen enough to contain him. They used to get punked by him, and it was looking real bad. But this year, they kept it, chipping at it this year against him. They've made him look human. And I gotta say, man, I'm really happy and I hope this stays a trend, because I cannot stand watching Buffalo drag their freaking nuts on New England anytime, man. It pisses me off. So that is the big takeaway I got. The other takeaway I got is that first half was like a disaster, man. Like, more specifically the first quarter. It was just, what was that?
It was like the Patriots offense in very, like, it was like a cataclysm of the whole season just packed into one quarter. Just careless with the ball and no even threat of a modern passing game. It was rough.
Jalen Reagor.
It was something we got very familiar with in the middle of the season. Obviously, the first month of the year, I thought our passing game improved dramatically from season prior, and then in the middle of the season, it all just kind of got lost. Then I don't know, whatever the hell this Zappy experiment has been. I still have mixed feelings about it, but I think this is a question that I could pitch to Trent to get him involved early. Josh Allen, did the Patriots figure him out, or is Josh Allen? Did he just kind of come crashing down back to earth a little bit with the offensive coordinator getting fired in the middle of the year, it all being weird? Stephon Diggs, obviously, his usage has gone down dramatically. His impact on the field has gone down dramatically. What is your kind of take on that?
I think I was gonna get into the Bills a little bit more later. Actually, that was gonna be my big takeaway from the game. I'll kind of condense it a little bit now, get more into it later. But
Sure.
For the most part, I just think the Bills are an extremely inconsistent team. You never know what kind of team you're gonna see. I mean, they've won 4 straight games, and I believe the last 2 weeks they were trailing to Easton Stick with 30 seconds left, and then Bailey Zappi gifts you 3 interceptions in the first half, and it's still, and I wouldn't say a nail biter, but a tight game heading into halfway through the fourth quarter. So I don't know if it's more so that I think Josh Allen has serious issues with turning the ball over. Shocker. I'm not exactly saying making rocket science there, but I think it's just as much on Sean McDermott that the entire time he's been there, Josh Allen hasn't really progressed as a passer all that much. I think the Bills are heading for an extremely disappointing end of their season, whether it's in the first round of the playoffs or this weekend. And I think there's going to be a lot of changes that some might be expecting, some might not see coming.
No, I'm right there with you with the McDermott thoughts. I mean, to me, he's kind of like, who was the head coach of the Warriors before Steve Kerr?
Mark Jackson.
Mark Jackson. I think that's pretty much what Sean McDermott is. I mean, they have this setup with all the talent in the world, but their coach he's good, but he's not going to get you over that hump. I mean, if you told Bills fans right now, the same ones, I know that there's very few of them. I know that there's some people in Buffalo who would toe the line for Sean McDermott because he's just so cool and he's so edgy and he gets the best out of his players. Yeah. But if you told me, as if I was a Bills fan, if you told me that I could fire Sean McDermott and then hire Ben Johnson and put Josh Allen and all those weapons in that Goff offense right now, I would do it in a heartbeat. I would. I think that's how you get the most out of your passing. I think it's a lot harder to find great offensive coordinators and great offensive coaches than it is good defensive ones. And I think ultimately great offensive coaches and great offensive play is going to win you more games than great defensive play. I think that's just kind of how this league has kind of gone in the most recent years. But we'll see what happens with those Bills. Like we said, later their season could be decided this weekend against Miami in the primetime game of the week. But yeah, I didn't find the Bills to be all that impressive. I haven't really found them to be all that impressive all year. I mean, Josh Allen's going to have his dynamo games. He's explosive, great talent all around. But at the end of the day, like Trent said, he's got a problem with turnovers. And Stephon Diggs has had an extremely down year, a very, very down year by his standards. And who knows what that's really about? Is it Joe Brady? Is it just
I think it
stagnant?
might be Joe Brady. Just
Go
because
ahead.
I saw his target share went down quite a bit when Joe Brady took over. But there's a take about Stephon Diggs. I don't know if I want it for the NFL one or for right now.
Go for it.
I think he requests a trade in the offseason.
Me and Trent actually discussed that pre-show. We did.
Mm-hmm.
We said that this is probably Stephon Diggs' last stint as a Buffalo Bill, especially if they don't make the playoffs. But all right, so the Patriots, they move on. They're going to play the Jets. We'll talk about that game a little bit later, or throughout the rest of the segments here. Ryan, I asked you to give me something you wanted to talk about going into this last game of the year to end 2023, 2024. What have you got for us, and how can I help you?
So I alluded to this a few weeks ago when I think it was the Chiefs week or whatever.
Actually, I think you might have said it last week too.
And I'm going to keep on harping on it. I would like to see our depth in this game a lot more because this is let's call a spade a spade. It's a meaningless game for both the Patriots and Jets, right? So I want to see any player that we could see having a future in New England. I don't want to see any of these Devontae Parker types. I don't want to see any of these dudes. Let's bring out the youth for one game and let's give these guys a try. It's essentially a fifth preseason, or I guess fourth preseason game because they got rid of the fourth one. I would love to see any of these players that have shown out, like Kevin Harris and Alex Austin and Marte Mapu, get the opportunities to get a lot of playing time.
Was it Marte Mapu who outmuscled that Chiefs tight end a couple of weeks ago? Yeah, that was impressive. So here's what I'm gonna do to give our viewers a clear picture of what we're going for here. I'm gonna run through the important skill positions, and I want you to tell me who you want to see. So at quarterback, do you have any interest in seeing Mac Jones out there against the Jets on Sunday? No?
Waste of time, unless you want to tank. I mean, wants to secure that second pick, yeah, we can. But no. Maybe
I don't
you know what? I'll say this. Instead of Mac, you picked up Nathan Rourke off waivers from the Jaguars. If Zappy's really stinking it up in the first half,
don't even hesitate.
Don't hesitate. Just go to Rourke. Because we're gonna talk. Are we gonna talk about it later? I can't remember, but
No, I cut it out for
cut it out. I don't think Zappy is a starter. Like, we know who he is. He's a valiant backup.
That's what he is.
But if Zappy really stinks, let's at least just give Nathan Rourke a shot. He looked. He had a highlight. He had like a crazy highlight. I think he had the highlight of the preseason against Dallas. He's like basically had like a Patrick Mahomes-esque play, like Aaron Rodgers type stuff, where he just threw just a miracle dart down the field while I think he's getting tackled or is like on the run, or it was something ridiculous, like rare stuff. Is that who he is? Probably not. Obviously not. I don't think so. He's undrafted, but let's give him a chance.
For me with Zappy, I think he's earned a spot on the roster in 2024. He's played valiantly through the second half of the year. Do I want him as the uncontested QB1 next year? God, no. I think with a top 5 pick, 4 of those 5 are going to be quarterback, and you're going to be right there. You're going to take one. You better. I think Zappy Rourke, is the move to start too.
I think just with Rourke, though, is, like I said, treat it like a preseason game, right? So if you can't get anything going, let's just, maybe he has a future here in New England too, right? You never know.
And we mentioned Kevin Harris. How about the wide receivers? Who do you want out there?
Okay.
Give me 3.
Well, 2 of them are already starting in Demario Douglas, obviously, and I guess Tyquan Thornton. But I would like, can we just unleash Keyshawn Butte for one game?
No, because he can't keep his toes on the sideline. He always has to step on the line.
We've been hearing since his freshman year about how talented this guy is, and we're not even going to give him a chance because of what, like a week one where he couldn't keep his toes in bound. Like, you never know. This guy has a lot of talent, man. Let's see what he has.
How about some more Jalen Reagor?
Why not? That's a former first-round pick.
He had that great catch against Buffalo last week. I forget what it was, but it was kind of that back shoulder. He's kind of sliding, and he pulled it in. I thought that was cool.
Even Reagor, I mean, he got the kick return touchdown. We could see him as a return specialist type competing with Marcus Jones. Let's see him out there a little bit.
As for the tight ends, that's a thin group. I think your guys are your guys. DBs, we mentioned Alex Austin. Is there any other guys that you kind of want to see? I'd like to see Josh Bledsoe if he's out there.
I would like to see Marco Wilson. We claimed him off the waivers from Arizona. This is a former 4th-round pick, I believe. Talented guy. He wasn't the best corner in Arizona, but listen, he's talented. He's still, I think, only 24, 25 years old. Let's see what he can do.
And then we mentioned Mapu. I think that's about it, really, for the young players. Keon White, you have to see more and more in him. That's great.
Well, I would like to see Sam Roberts play.
Oh
He's
yeah,
a former
I haven't seen
6th-round
him
pick.
lately.
Chris, I know he had that standout game, and I forgot to mention. I feel like a dumbass because Christian Barmore last week versus Denver a couple weeks ago had the game of his career, and I completely forgot to mention. I mentioned Miles Bryant before.
Listen,
But you know what?
I'll save it for superlatives, but there is a certain award that I'm going to be giving Christian Barmore next week during our end of the season wrap up.
Might be in line for some money, man.
Yeah, better be. Jesus. We better keep him. We don't want to play around with Barmore like we did with Uche and Onwenu. Speaking of Onwenu, re-sign that bastard, please.
Yeah.
Trent Brown, he can walk. I don't want to see Trent Brown anymore. Trent Brown, maybe
he's gone.
Maybe my least favorite Patriot ever. Maybe
he's up there.
Trent, do you know what's been going on with him?
Vaguely, there's something going on
with
him openly talking about his contract, right?
He has quit on the team. Absolutely quit. Like against, was it Denver? He was just going through the motions, man. He was a turnstile.
That's just who Trent Brown is.
No interest whatsoever. Just bad. Might be my least favorite Patriot ever. Just I hate that. Like I can deal with you just being bad, but you choosing to be horrible.
Vidarian Lowe's just bad. Like there's nothing more.
I'm irrelevant, whatever it is. I'm indifferent on Vidarian Lowe, but Trent Brown, oh, you have pushed my buttons, Trent Brown. Just ridiculous.
There is another O lineman I would like to see get some burn. We spent a 4th-round pick on this guy. Jake Andrews.
Yeah, we need listen, an underrated last game maybe. David Andrews.
You mean Jake?
No, David Andrews. This could be his last game.
David and Jake. Let's get the Andrews together. Preferably Jake Andrews in the left.
No, you're not getting what I'm saying. This could be David Andrews' last game as a Patriot.
Oh, okay.
This could be his last game ever. Like you mentioned Slater earlier. This could be David Andrews' last game. He's dealt with health issues. This is like the first game in a long time that he's, the first season he's played where hasn't missed a snap. I mean, he's got to be worn and torn at this point.
Yeah. There is another last game for a Patriot that I think we'll save for the game preview.
I said Slater already.
You said Slater?
Yeah, okay, somebody's just not listening to the host.
Dude, you know what? I'm sorry. My brain's a little mush at this point. A long season.
All right. Well, then let's just get right to the interesting segment here that that Trent could even dive in on as an outsider, have a clear, concise, thought out opinion on. The most important last game as a Patriot, potentially, Bill Belichick. I mean, we've heard it all throughout the course of the year. We've been told that this has been done, a done deal since Germany, that Bill Belichick, it's written on the walls. It's done. He will not return in 2024. That's the report. We don't know what's actually going to happen. We do know that they're going to have a meeting next week to kind of determine what the future holds. But Trent, this is a kind of important game for one of the more important franchises in the NFL. I mean, we're talking 24 years roughly of utter dominance and just the peak of football in a lot of people's minds. What's your take on as a not Patriots fan when you look at this and say, hey, this could be the last time that Belichick's in Foxboro?
Well, it's hard to imagine. Just, I mean, you said he's been there for 24 years. I'm 24 years old. So he's been the head coach of one of the most, probably the most dominant 20-year stretch that the league has ever seen. It's what he's been able to do, the consistency he's been able to bring. The fact that the Patriots were, I mean, what was their record in Super Bowls before?
0-2.
0-2. Yeah, like they'd never won a Super Bowl before. The guy leaves and you've got 6. The impact that he and a guy called Tom Brady had on that the franchise is insane, and it's hard to imagine pivoting from that, whatever it is, I always joke that the only other guy who's coached the New England Patriots since then is the guy they put in Madden because Belichick refuses to be in
Chad Masters.
They got a new guy this year. Forgot his name, but
Peter Griffith.
Oh, yeah.
No, is it Peter Griffith? It's something
it's something
Griffith.
like that.
It's
Peter
Pete something.
Griffin. Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to say Peter Griffin, like that's not right. It's Peter something.
No,
But
he's too busy doing Fortnite.
could we imagine that, Trent, that it ended this poorly? That this is the final chapter of Foxboro for Belichick. It's a 4-12. It's a 4-13, 5-12 season, the worst of his career. I mean, it's kind of hard to fathom in a big picture, but we've also seen it in a smaller picture over the last 2-3 years.
Well, I think it also goes into, and you guys know that when we've had our conversations, I've been far from the biggest fan of Bill Belichick, but it just goes to show how important the quarterback position is because it's fun to joke around and call Belichick a Tom Brady merchant and this, that, and the other. But when you go from the greatest quarterback of all time for 20 years to a guy who might not be good enough to be in the league at this point, it's, that's hard. And it is a testament to Bill that he took Mac Jones as a rookie and made the playoffs. Now they got smoked when they got to the playoffs, but the fact that he was making the playoffs with that roster and that quarterback in particular, is a testament to how he is as a head coach. It's really only been 2 bad seasons. I mean, last year wasn't great, but a lot of teams would kill for the season the Patriots had. This has been the first really bad season it is, and it'll just show how quickly it can turn. It's hard to imagine, but I feel like it wouldn't have gone as poorly had they had a Gardner Minshew in there or a Jacoby Brissett or somebody like that to just bring stability to that position. Because if you try and play football like it's 1985 and you don't have the skill guys in the line to do that, not that the line is bad, but it's not blowing anybody's doors off, you're just not going to win that way.
No, right. Ryan, you're a Patriots fan, so I'm gonna appeal to your fan kind of perspective on it. I want you to get a little sentimental, a little sappy. I'm gonna present to
Sappiness.
I'm gonna present this kind of thing to you. Totally different question than Trent, because Trent he's gonna be a little more. He's an outsider. He doesn't have the fan kind of investment that we have when it comes to Belichick and just how hard this could hit home. But okay, so here's a scenario. Okay, we go into Sunday. There's no clear word. I don't think there's going to be a clear word on if this is Belichick's last game. Okay.
Supposed to meet next week.
So let's just assume that nothing leaks out by Sunday. We don't really know what's going on. Would you be opposed to, say, pregame or after the game, the Patriots cameras on the big board, the TV cameras, they focus in on Belichick for a solid minute and a half. It's this kind of sentimental kind of handoff. Crowd goes, chants Bill or whatever, or thank you, Bill, or something. Like, would you be opposed to having a little moment like that? And if so, why? If not, what would that kind of mean to you as a Patriots fan?
I don't think Bill would want it, quite frankly.
So you don't think Bill would even acknowledge it?
I know. I don't think Belichick's like that on the sideline. Come on now. Like, this is a guy that like
after the game, like say the Patriots just like absolutely demolish the Jets like 38-3. Okay, like it's not even close, and that's he's going out, he's dapping up solid, good game, whatever. And as they're walking off the field, cameras all pointing at Bill. The commentators are going on and on and on. And, the fans are like the big board at Gillette Stadium, that brand new, scoreboard, full screen Belichick. Fans kind of get the idea of what the cinematographers are going for. That, hey, this is a real thing. What do you think?
Listen, as a fan, I'm not against it because, regardless of how you feel about Belichick, he had the 20-year stretch before, and you could say it's because of Brady and all that stuff. And I do lean more towards Brady, but that's
How
not
could you
the
not, right?
conversation. But yeah, you gotta celebrate it. Unfortunately, I do wish the last game in New England history for Brady was a lot more ceremoniously too than him throwing a pick six.
I think that's what
the
makes
games.
this. I think that's what makes this whole thing weird. It's because we're leaving it off on a really bad note, like
Just like Brady.
a really bad note. This is worse than Brady. This is worse than Brady, and I'll tell you why. Brady, I feel like I had more uncertainty about Brady than I do about Belichick's future. I think Brady, I mean, at the end, there was nothing really that we could do as we're watching this. As we're watching Brady walk off, he just, huffs off the field, goes to his press conference, and is done. And we
Yeah.
never saw him in Foxborough again. With Belichick, I mean, this is definitive. We know that this is pretty much it. And I don't know. I feel weird about it, and I really wish that Belichick would just play the game once. If
That's
I get
that's the thing is I think he would ruin the moment, unfortunately.
he's not sentimental. I don't think that he thinks he's gonna get fired, and if he does, he doesn't want to get fired. He doesn't want out of New England. He's 72
He
years
doesn't want
old.
pushed out the door. So
He doesn't want. I don't think he wants to leave. Like, period. I think he at 72 years old, he'd rather just keep doing the thing he's been doing.
yeah.
This is a Pat McAfee. I mean, he put it perfectly a couple of weeks ago, and Patriots fans got mad. I do not envy the position that Robert Kraft's in after this week.
Well, I think they got mad because he said it right to Robert Kraft, which he shouldn't do. But
I don't think there was anything wrong with what he did. I'm not the biggest Pat McAfee fan in the world. Everybody knows that. But I think, Trent, do you have an opinion on when Kraft got blindsided by Pat McAfee by saying, I don't envy what the decision you have to make at the end of the year?
I haven't seen the clip, but if Robert Kraft went into that podcast and didn't expect Pat McAfee to be
no, it was on College Game Day.
It was Army versus Navy. It was pregame because it was at Gillette. And
okay.
Belichick came on. Pat McAfee was all cool with him, dapping him up, whatever, and having the conversation. Belichick had the moment where he put on the Navy helmet from like 1962 or wherever the hell. And then Kraft came on afterwards. And at the end, Pat McAfee said, greatest dynasty in the world, whatever, yada, yada, all these records, whatever. I don't envy the decision that you're going to have to make at the end of the year. And Kraft was like,
really funny. I think that's awesome.
And Patriots fans got pissed that, how could you blindside Mr. Kraft like that?
Mr. Kraft, the esteemed
They
Robert
do. They do
Give
call him. They call him Mr. Kraft here, Trent.
Give me a break.
Bunch of babies. But no,
I mean, that's what Pat does. I mean, he's open and honest about it, and he's right. I think to what you guys were saying just quickly, I think it's different now because with Tom leaving, it was after a super disappointing playoff loss that a lot of people weren't expecting.
Super disappointing season.
Yeah, super disappointing season.
Worst 12-4 team ever.
I'd say you guys started out like 10-0, 11-0, and then Lamar Jackson ripped your guys' heart out, and it was just kind of downhill from there. But I feel like this is different. Like you said, it's a meaningless game. The only way you could possibly care about the outcome of this game other than just wanting to see the Pats win is draft position. So this seems like the perfect spot to give something to Bill on the way out. And obviously
but the problem is Bill doesn't give us room to do it. That's the issue. I mean, anytime you talk about reminiscing in the future, he's stuck to his code. Oh, well, I'm preparing for the Jets this week. And that's it.
I fully think if he's on the field at the end of the game and they put the camera on him and he's on the big board and he's getting a standing O from the crowd, he'll do one of these. It won't be a lot. I mean, that's not Bill's style, but there's no way he'll just piss that away. I mean, you can tell when he does like the top 100 players interviews, things like that, the guy cares a lot. It's just when he's in game mode, he's game mode. But he'll definitely take a moment to soak it all in, I bet.
I think it's this. I don't want to say it stings worse than Brady, but it sucks. Like, the Brady departure was easier to take, I think, than the Bill one because it's not up to Bill. Brady had full control over that decision. That was Brady's call. Bill, he's going to be forced out because he's not going to just retire.
Yep.
Unless at the end he's like, well, I'm not going to coach anywhere else and I'll just retire. Which, God, I really hope I think that's the best case scenario for me as a fan. Like, I don't know if I would feel great about Belichick coaching elsewhere. But I don't want him here next year, so I can't have my cake and eat it too. But
yeah, it's very similar to how the Colts split up with Peyton Manning. I mean, I think it's a very similar situation to that because Peyton didn't want to leave. But I mean, everybody saw the writing on the wall. I mean, that's a whole different other conversation. I won't get into that, into those weeds. But I mean, it's a very similar situation where Peyton didn't want to leave, but they saw the writing on the wall and had to make a decision.
It's hard to feel good about any of this. It doesn't feel great to talk about Belichick's last game being 4-13, 5-12. And again, it's going to end unceremoniously one way or the other.
It's like putting down your dog. You don't want to do it, but you got to do it.
So, yeah, we've gone over. This could be Belichick's last game in Foxboro. And we'll save our predictions for a little bit later. But right now, let's go out to a more upbeat topic, something that Trent is just going to dig his teeth into, chomping at the bit. There's a ton to go over around the league. There are many playoff considerations to go over. I have a lot of them on my phone. There are several divisions that are undecided going into Week 18, including our own AFC East with the Buffalo Bills and the Miami Dolphins on Sunday night. Let's talk about some of it. And I know that Trent has a take on Trevor Lawrence and some of the reception Trevor Lawrence has gotten in recent weeks. I don't know if that's the right word, but the narrative on Trevor Lawrence has been weird since the injury. And maybe it's cooled down a little bit, and maybe we got you here a couple weeks late. But you're here now. What is your thoughts on Trevor Lawrence and the discourse around him? Let's just kick off a roundtable segment with that.
I think that the general sports fan has the memory of a squirrel, and they're out of their minds. I mean, that's the best way to put it. The Jacksonville Jaguars are the NFL's biggest dumpster fire, and have been for 20 years. They have one win pre-Trevor from 2010 to 2021. They had one winning season, and it was the fluke Blake Bortles conference title run. They had a losing season every single year outside of that. In my lifetime, they've had 4 winning seasons.
2 of them ended by the Patriots.
Yep. And Trevor Lawrence got there, and that first year they had the Urban Meyer debacle. His rookie year was horrid. And then the next year they went 9-8, won the division. This year they're either going to go 9-8 again or 10-7, and they're winning the division heading into the last week. They'll probably win the division again. And people are really going to sit here and be like, man, we got to have a talk about Trevor Lawrence, man. No, we don't. We really don't. He's that guy. Let them trade Trevor Lawrence. As an Indianapolis Colts fan, please let them get rid of Trevor Lawrence. Please, yeah. Send him to the Patriots. You send him to the Patriots, they can win another 6 freaking Super Bowls. Please.
In 2020, that was the pipe dream. Remember, Ryan? We were going to suck so bad with Jarrett Stidham at quarterback. Before we even got Cam Newton, we're like, yeah, we're going to tank for Trevor.
It blows my mind that Trevor Lawrence, and he's had a really bad year, don't get me wrong. He's been banged up a lot, but
coming off the high ankle sprain.
Yeah, high ankle sprain. He has more turnovers than he has touchdowns. Obviously, that's not great, but you know who else didn't have the greatest start to their career either? Peyton Manning. And the comparisons between Peyton Manning and Trevor Lawrence, I think there's a lot of them. As a Colts fan, I don't have any problem with people saying that Trevor reminds them like the next Peyton Manning. I don't have a problem with that at all. He's out here. And another thing is Evan Ingram just had a 100-catch season. Who in God's earth wanted Evan Ingram on their team before he started playing with Trevor Lawrence?
I want him on my fantasy team. I had him on my fantasy team.
Yeah.
I dropped his waivers in the dynasty.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Ken did as well, though.
Yeah. Sorry, I messed it up. Nobody wanted anything to do with Evan Ingram before.
Dude, on the Giants, he was horrid. Oh,
yeah,
it was bad.
Christian Kirk, everybody thought he was a wide receiver 3 at best on a good team, and now he's
Pretty
a guy,
solid. Pretty
a
good.
pretty solid commodity. Why? Because he's playing with Trevor
Calvin
Lawrence.
Ridley, obviously a huge addition when Trevor was on his A game. Him and Calvin Ridley, really good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, shoot, they started the season 8-3, and then
People forget about that.
Yeah. You would think that was 3 years ago, but they were killing it. They looked like legit AFC title contenders. And that is all Jags fans have known over the last 3 years, is a team that is good enough to make playoff runs. And the general NFL media is, after a bad month and a half of football, people are going to say, we got to have a talk about Trevor Lawrence. Yeah, you should have a talk about how he's saving your franchise. That's all I have to say.
Do you want to hear a funny piece? Do you want to hear a funny piece of a Patriots propaganda from earlier in the year?
Yeah.
Right around when Trevor Lawrence got hurt, maybe right before, Mac Jones was also still the starter. And Patriots fans and Mac Jones defenders, they would pull up like these really cherry picked stats and be like, "Well, see, through 60 games or whatever the fuck it was, Mac Jones is outplaying Trevor Lawrence. I mean, just look at the facts. Numbers don't lie." And then I just thought that was hilarious. Ryan, I saw that you had a little bit of a smirk on your face earlier when Trent was talking down to the people who are doubting Trevor Lawrence, and maybe when he was comparing him to Peyton Manning. Do you have a different thought? I mean, am I just reading your face wrong?
I mean,
wait, before he says anything, sorry, I don't want to cut you off. I just want to clarify one thing. If you don't think Trevor Lawrence is the second coming of Peyton Manning, I have no issues with that. But if you're questioning if he's the guy in Jacksonville, that was mainly who I was talking to.
No, I think Lawrence is still the guy there. The Jaguars are just a bit of a clown show. They've been one as an organization dating back to like since I was a kid, man. It's been
since their birth in like 92.
No, the thing is the Jaguars were once like a legit like on like in the late 90s, early 2000s, man. They were for real. Like,
yeah,
they were that team, man. But they fell off a cliff and they've just been incompetent since, with just spurts of greatness. And I don't even want to say greatness, but like spurts of like, oh, you made the AFC title game with Blake Bortles just to give up a 3rd and 17 to Tom Brady.
He wasn't down.
Miles Jack wasn't down. You gave up a 3rd and 17 in the clutch. Congrats. I don't care.
You got absolutely toasted by Danny Amendola.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure they knocked Gronk out of that game.
Yeah, Jalen Ramsey concussed Gronk.
Yeah, I think it's Barry Church. But yeah, like...
No, it was Ramsey.
Was it Ramsey? I thought
it was Ramsey. I think Church was like on his waist, and then Ramsey hit him up high. I think that's what the play was.
Yeah, I don't care. Boo-hoo Jags fans. I hate that Miles Jack wasn't down shit so much. Bunch of clowns. Yeah. The Jaguars are just a joke of a team, and I mean, coming out of the draft, Lawrence is supposed to be that guy. I think his biggest issue is I do think there are still some inconsistencies to Lawrence's game, where one week he's the man, and the next week it's like, who the hell is this guy? And it's part of it's because the Jaguars doing a poor job of developing him. And I've heard that Doug Peterson's not necessarily been the best coach for them. But I don't think anybody should give up on Lawrence, and we don't need to have these dumb conversations. It's the same with Justin Herbert. Let's just stop. They're good. They're great quarterbacks. You can call them overrated. I mean, I guess saying they're not the guy and that these teams need to move on or whatever. Stop it. Just stop. You don't know ball. That's my take.
No. Foxboro Beat is the official Ball Knowers podcast. If we say it here, it's a good take.
The YKB boys.
Yes, for sure. All right, so Now we got the Trevor Lawrence talks out of the way. The Philadelphia Eagles have lost like 4 straight. What the hell?
Think stinking stunk.
Can somebody explain to me what's gone wrong? Like
coaching. Their coaching is amongst the worst in football, at least at the coordinator level. It's like it's crazy how bad and like uncreative they are. Their offense is literally, let's just pray we get to like 3rd and 1 or 4th and 1 and we can just push our way to a freaking title, like or a touchdown. Like it's ridiculous. It's completely stagnant. You know, AJ Brown has been a ghost because they're not really doing anything to really, you know, draw up plays for him. I know Devontae Smith got hurt. That's not good.
I think another ankle sprain for him. Oh, damn it. The Phoenix Suns lost.
Oh, no, not the Phoenix Suns.
Oh, no. Anyway, what were you saying?
Yeah.
Just saw the notification across my phone. I thought I'd mention a team that I actually feel kind of decent about.
The Lakers are probably losing right now, too. Not going to lie.
Celtics lost last night.
Good. Okay. So I'm gonna pitch a conversation to the chat here. My 2 good friends, real ball knowers. At least Ryan sometimes, Trent certified.
Self-taught.
Jalen Hurts. I think people need to stop playing pretend about him. He's not very good.
Oh.
He's outside the top 10.
Oh.
He's outside the top. I think people need to stop playing with their food with Jalen Hurts. He's not that great. I'm sorry, I don't see it. I really don't.
Oh.
I think you lost me on the not top 10.
I've fallen out of it. I mean, let me pull up a good friend of mine sent a list about the quarterbacks that they ranked. You know, just like coming into the season and kind of throughout, like the starters, people who have been considered starters. And maybe this is inside the top 10 and I'm just reading it wrong, but he's back in top 10, if anything. Like between 10 and probably 14 is where I put him. But here's how the list goes from a good friend of mine. You got Mahomes at 1, Lamar at 2, Burrow at 3. Don't get too weird about the order. I'm just reading it. Mahomes, Lamar, Burrow, Allen, Herbert, Stafford, Stroud, Lawrence, Tua, Prescott, Cousins, Hurts.
You said those last bit really fast. I think saying CJ Stroud is better is crazy, personally. I like CJ Stroud a lot. Look, it's one. I think it's unfair if we're ready to say that Jalen Hurts is overrated for one good season. I mean, what has CJ Stroud? I mean, CJ Stroud's had a phenomenal rookie season.
What are the Texans working with on that offense, Trent?
I mean, they're not working with a lot.
A fraction of the things that are on.
Yeah, but here's the thing: as I brought it up, dude, the Eagles OC is terrible. Like that guy. They went from
who's calling plays for Houston over there?
Bobby Slowick, who is actually going to be a future head coaching candidate soon.
Okay, but I mean,
he's 49ers guy. So
okay, so let me just put it like this, okay? Tua Tagovailoa, Dak Prescott, Kirk Cousins. I don't want to say all generally the same guy, but I think you put him in any order, I won't be offended. I call that the mid Dozo line. Okay, it's like that's the middle of the pack starters. Like you can win with these guys, but they need some help. I'm not comfortable putting Jalen Hurts over the mid Dozo line. I'm not. I don't see it.
6 minutes away from winning a Super Bowl.
Okay, and now we're kind of seeing that maybe kind of a coaching merchant, kind of a talent merchant, tush push merchant. I also think
Jalen Hurts has been playing hurt a lot of the season. I mean, you can just see he's limping around a lot. He looks pretty banged up. Not that that's an excuse, but I mean, we can just as easily look at Patrick Mahomes. I mean, Patrick Mahomes has a new offensive coordinator. Now, obviously, he's not playing with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, but Patrick Mahomes has taken a big step back from what he's been. I don't think he was an Eric Bieniemy merchant at all. I think maybe Jalen just has to adapt more. I'm not sure. I'm not ready to say that Jalen Hurts is not top 10 by any means. If he comes out next year and he looks the same, then I think that those conversations would be fair.
Do you think I'm jumping the gun a little bit?
Dude,
I think
the
so.
Eagles need an OC has more than just tush push every single
Well, I mean,
goddamn.
listen, if they push Lamar Jackson in the ass every time they're at the 1, it would really show how stupid I think this all is.
I think Lamar Jackson would also get
I don't
hurt.
think the play would work as well with Lamar because, as I brought up before.
Oh, so we're saying the tush push is counterproductive?
No,
Because
I'm
it gets your
saying that
quarterback
their
hurt.
entire offensive strategy is literally based around one play, and that's they hope and pray to get the 3rd and 1, 4th and 1,
So it's
and
counterproductive.
push instead of actually building a proper offense, a balanced offense where you can operate like they did last year, where you have multiple avenues of beating your defenses. That's how the Eagles were so great with Shane Steichen last year. And it's where they've fallen off because their play calling isn't worth a shit.
Yeah, and I think the tush push works well with the Eagles because Jalen Hurts is built like a brick house and he can squat 500.
And their O-line's pretty monstrous too.
Yeah, like you could maybe try that with Josh Allen, but if you try that with a guy Lamar's size, Lamar would not hold up over a 17-game season doing that consistently.
Hurts is literally built like a linebacker playing quarterback, man. Like he's like, I'm pretty sure he's got like a ridiculous squat number. Like he's insane. Like he'd be a bodybuilder if he wasn't in the NFL. Like just ridiculous.
But, or that guy at Target with the tripod.
Yeah, he'd be the tripod guy.
I don't know. I'm out on Jalen Hurts.
Listen,
I'm out.
I agree with Trent. If this is like if they get a new OC and they're still like Hurts is looking like shit, then okay, I'll be with you, Kaleb, on that. Until then, I think we're being a little reactionary to 1 year where I don't think things are going his way. Like, they're not even like properly using AJ Brown. You have AJ Brown, and you're not even like scheming up plays for him. What are you doing? It's a little ridiculous how they're doing things there in Philly. And didn't Goddard get hurt as well for a while, if I remember correctly?
He's been banged up for a while. I think he just came back.
That's another safety valve.
I think it was an IR for a stint.
Yeah, I think he did.
I believe that to be true.
Yeah. I think everything's going wrong around him. And yeah, you know what? Maybe he's not a superhero, but I never thought of Hurts as a superhero type quarterback. But
so maybe I should pitch it like this: is Jalen Hurts closer to number 10 or is he closer to number 5?
Right now he's closer to 10, but
is he closer to number 14 or is he closer to number 7?
He's closer to Josh Allen than he is to Tua.
Yeah, I think so as well.
I don't know. I don't see Jalen Hurts as that kind of game changer.
If I think that Jalen Hurts is, I don't think he's Mahomes. I don't think he's Lamar Jackson. I'll hold.
So maybe are we too low on Josh Allen?
No.
Maybe that's the question.
No, because he loses his team more games than he wins them. I don't think you can say that about Jalen.
Yeah.
It also doesn't help that Jalen and the Eagles have to score 40 points a game because their defense is horrid.
That's another problem too, man. And that's another thing. Like maybe we were underrating Gannon as well. Like,
remember when everybody said that defense would get better when Gannon left?
It wasn't looking that pretty, but yeah, maybe another thing the Eagles might have overrated personnel, maybe. Like they're a good team, but I've overrated them. Maybe the league has overrated them. Just
I think Bradbury definitely got overrated. Slay to an extent too. I think Sirianni stinks. I think Gannon is going to be a really good head coach. Not Sirianni, excuse me. I think Shane Steichen, in my completely unbiased opinion, should be the coach of the year. But they lost.
I think Stefanski's got that locked up.
I'm not mad with Stefanski winning it. I don't think D'Amico Ryan should win it over Steichen. But Stefanski I don't have an issue with. But they lost a lot of coaching. There's been a lot of turnover from that Super Bowl team last year. So I think just putting that blame on we overrated Jalen as opposed to there's a lot of shifting everywhere and nothing really looks as good as it did last year. I think that's a more fair way to view how the Eagles season has went, and as opposed to just putting it on Jalen.
I think I see your points, but I still don't think Jalen Hurts is all that in a bag of chips.
That's fair. Like, listen, I don't know if he's the guy that like he's shown. Like,
Hasn't he gotten his huge contract already?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think that's gonna age well at all. Yeah. How much is he making?
Isn't it like 250 or something like that?
I'll look at it.
I know. Is it approaching 50 million a year?
It's over 50. Yeah, he had the biggest before Lamar and Burrow signed theirs.
Which, in the defense of the Eagles, I mean, when the guy
you have to do that, right? Like, you can't get into like tag limbo.
You can't give him that.
It's true, but I think I just wouldn't.
51 million a year, 180 guaranteed.
Oh man,
180 in total guarantees, 110 million guaranteed at signing.
How long was it? Is it a 5-year or 4-year?
He is under contract until 2029.
Okay, so he is a free agent after this year, so it's a 5-year. He would have been a free agent after this year, so it's a 5-year contract.
Yeah, and there's a potential out in 2028 in the 2028 offseason with only air quotes around only a $24.1 million dead cap hit.
It's better than Russell Wilson.
Yeah. You're not eating like a literal anchor. I mean, if you want to see another anchor, go look at Derek Carr's contract. Not pretty there.
Who wants that job? I don't know if we want to get off on that sidetrack. Who wants that New Orleans job?
I gotta say, man, like I'm using my F-word card here. I'm so fucking tired of hearing from Saints fans about how Mickey Loomis is this genius because he would put his team into the red and then get himself out of it.
We're finally seeing the end of that. We're finally getting to the end of the road.
No, your team was great because you had an all-time great quarterback and a pretty great roster. Admittedly, he did a good job at one point, but this whole idea of constantly putting yourself in the red.
It's so funny, Trent.
I heard that little from the side. I heard that.
That's just Kaleb like despises Drew Brees. Like
I do.
I know he does. We talked to Kaleb and I have gotten into many arguments about Drew Brees.
Listen, I'm not the biggest fan of Drew Brees.
The most magical thing about hold on, Ryan. The most magical thing about Drew Brees is when he convinced the whole entire world he got struck by lightning.
Okay, buddy.
That is the most prolific thing he's ever done.
How many Super Bowls have the Saints ever played in?
I'm not bringing up
franchise history.
Okay.
How many of them have they won?
Okay.
Who is the quarterback on?
Tampa only has 2 Super Bowls. Okay, and one of them was with what's his name? The one that we say, we'll look at the mid guy who can win. Brad Johnson. Yeah. What am I supposed to make of that? Loser franchises can get lucky. I don't know. What do you want me to tell you?
But was Brad Johnson the driving force on that team?
I mean, he could have been. I don't know. I wasn't there.
It was the Bucs defense.
Yeah. It was Derek Brooks is on that team, wasn't he?
It was like Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp, Rondé Barber, John Lynch.
Yeah.
Listen, most of my Drew Brees
is throwing to freaking Marquise Colston.
Listen, Saints fans get mad when you shit on Marquise Colston.
Okay, no. I'm not here for the Marquez Colston disrespect. That guy was a dog.
He was solid. Don't get me wrong.
No, that guy was a dog.
It's
Marquez
so
Colston
funny.
Was him.
It's so funny when you look at like the all-time quarterback touchdown duo, quarterback receiver touchdown list, and it's like Peyton Manning, Marvin Harrison, Tom Brady, Rob Gronkowski, Drew Brees, and Marquise Colston. Like,
okay, Marquez Colston is one of the most. I'm gonna say he's one of the most underrated players in NFL history. Do you know that guy has 0 Pro Bowls to his name? That's a little ridiculous. I didn't expect to come into this talking about Marquez Colston, but like,
Ryan, do you have a topic NFL roundtable you wanted to bring up?
Can I just talk about like the early 2010s in the NFL?
No, we've done that all season.
Okay, can I pitch off-season topics?
Sure. What do you want to talk about in the
Okay.
offseason?
I want to talk about NFL players that have either like 1 or 2 Pro Bowl berths or like all pros or whatever that should have way more or like none at all. That's my
Okay, yeah,
off-season topic. I
okay.
want to talk about underrated players ever because I could go on for like a whole show, like an hour and a half about underrated football players.
All right, for the next month, here's your homework. You come up with that list, and then we'll discuss it.
All right.
We'll bring Trent back for it.
Ryan's most underrated football players ever. I'm here for it.
And before we get to the Jets
and you know
preview,
what? I got one NFL roundtable topic. The Green Bay Packers are making the playoffs. I'm saying that right now.
Okay, you're burying the lead because we still have picks to do.
Okay. Well,
Trent,
Ryan, I don't know if you were here for this, but we got the playoff machine fired up on my laptop right now, so we can run through this.
Trent,
Jordan Love is gonna make Kaleb eat his words because he makes me feel the love every single week.
Eat my words. All I've said about
you
Jordan
said
Love
last week. I don't see it. He's so inaccurate. He's bad.
I don't see it. I don't. Would I take him on the Patriots? Yeah, but it's a low bar.
You're gonna see it because my king, Jordan Love.
You've been known to curse quarterbacks on this podcast, you know.
Well, Jordan Love has like 28 touchdowns, something like that. He's got an insane amount of touchdowns. Respect my guy.
Yeah, he has about as many touchdowns. You know, I think he has twice the what word am I going for? For every touchdown, he has about 5 missed easy throws.
I don't care.
There's a lot of receipts of you calling him Cheesehead Cutler in our group chat.
Yeah, you know what? That's because he's costing me money. He hasn't been costing me money lately.
Yeah, so right, because you just lost all the leagues where you could have won money. Okay, Trent, I promised you a minute on the Michigan Wolverines and their national championship aspirations against the Washington Huskies coming up on Monday in Houston. Want to give us a quick 60-second preview of what we're hoping for, what we're looking to see, and what we could see?
Yeah, well, first of all, I just want to thank all our men and women who have served here and abroad, and mainly Connor Stallions. We should build the statue outside of the stadium. This defense is dynamite, and I'm so excited to watch this game against Washington. Anybody who tells you that Michigan's about to steamroll Washington, they certified not knowing ball. They don't know what they're talking about.
No, I think it's going to be good.
Yeah, Washington probably has the best offense in the country. If Dylan Johnson doesn't end up playing, that's a big hit to them. That's their running back, for those who don't know.
He's expected to play, from what I
heard.
Is
he? Okay, good for them. That sucks for Michigan. I think that's the best passing offense in the country. Michael Penix is going to be by far and away the best quarterback Michigan's played. Vice versa, this is going to be the best.
Oh, you're not rocking with Kyle McCord?
No, I'm not.
That's Syracuse legend Kyle McCord, buddy.
No, I'm not. I actually think Ohio State ran him out of town before they should, but I don't want to get off on that tangent. But it's going to be.
Depends on who they get in the portal, man. Listen, I live in Columbus. I need Buckeyes fans to be happy for my life.
The best quarterback has already come off the transfer portal. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right.
Max Brosmer of the University of New Hampshire Wildcats is committed to the Minnesota Golden Gophers. I'm sorry, but the best quarterback's off the board.
They got a Chowderhead at QB for the Gophers?
Not Chowderhead, the Granite State Gopher, New Hampshire.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah. State of Libertarians. New Hampshire, baby.
But no, it's Michigan. Michigan has the best pass defense in the country. They're holding teams to under 150 yards passing per game. Washington has the number 1 ranked passing offense in the country. They're averaging over 350. They just absolutely torched Texas. I think it's a really interesting matchup because Michigan is really good at the things that Texas is bad at, and Washington is really good at the things that Alabama was bad at. So I don't know, fingers crossed. I think Michigan's going to win, but I don't feel good about it at all. People have doubted Washington all year, and they keep finding ways to win. So we'll see what happens.
I'm with you. I think Michigan pulls it off, but man, if Michael Penix Jr. puts on another light show, and even if he loses, if he puts on another light show and he continues to be poised in the pocket, making those insane throws that he was making against Texas, I could be talked into picking him at 2 or 3.
Top five,
I
top
could.
five.
I could. I could be talked into having fucking roided up Tua with his left hand on his
Look, you're
Patriots
swearing now.
team.
Hey, listen. You know who else deserves a shout, man, on Washington? Rome Odunze, who might honestly go top 10 in the draft, as crazy as it sounds. Like, this receiver class, people aren't talking about it enough. I guess not enough to a point where, like, we're looking at a historic draft class, man. There are guys that are going to go rounds 2 and 3 that should not be there at all in normal years. But Roma Dunze, dare I say, I don't want to say over Marvin Harrison Jr., but bona fide wide receiver 2 and bona fide top 10 pick? Question mark.
I wouldn't take him over Malik Neighbors, but I think the gap between Marvin Harrison Jr. to Malik Neighbors to Roma Dunze,
it's not as big as people think.
No, it's really.
They're all top 15 players on my draft board, easily.
Yeah.
And I would put Brian Thomas from LSU as well really highly up there. That guy is good. Man, it's a good draft class. It's a good year to need a receiver in New England. It's a good year. Don't take the wrong one this time like you did in 2019.
Listen, we're taking Joe Alt at pick 5 because we're going to beat the Jets, and that's how it's going to go.
Yeah, Nate Solder all over again.
Nate Solder was good up until Greg Hardy abused him.
Yeah, Nate Solder was good.
The first 4 years of his career, he was really good.
What you want with a top 5 pick is Nate Solder.
All right. Pats Jets preview. Very quickly. 2 great defenses, 2 very bad offenses. Could be Belichick's last game. Could be Matt Slater's last game. Could be David Andrews' last game. Am I forgetting any other old guys on the roster?
Yeah, Mac Jones' last game.
Yeah. So
it's the Mac Jones farewell tour. Let's put the camera on Mac Jones for the game.
Yeah, let's give Mac Jones the Belichick send-off.
Thanks for nothing. That's what they'll put on the board.
All right. Ryan, you're a Patriots fan. I don't even want to know your score with the keys of the game. I want to know, what do you want out of this game?
I want
when it's all said and done. What do you want out of this game?
I want a Matt Slater trick play touchdown. I want that. I would love to see Matt Slater. I believe he only has 1 career reception. It's that bomb from Tom Brady
in 2011 against Miami.
Yeah. Get my guy one last touchdown, one last play, man. Get him something big. I know he's been revered for his special teams work, but come on. How fun would that be? If we want to be sentimental, I would love that. I'd love it for Slates. That guy's a warrior and a legend, man. Need it. I need that.
What I want, screw the draft position. I don't care. Send Belichick off with a win against the Jets. It's only fitting that we beat up on that dumpster fire organization that we've been beating up on since day one, that hasn't beaten us since the Obama administration. I need us to beat the Jets.
I want Aaron Rodgers to come back for 1 game. Just bring him back out there. I don't care how illegal it is. And have him re-tear that Achilles.
Jesus Christ.
He's too busy reading 4chan and adding Jimmy Kimmel on Twitter to football right now.
I'm sorry, that guy's insufferable.
Yeah, it's getting hard to even me. I was on the Rodgers train even through the COVID nonsense, through the hallucinogen nonsense, but this whole Epstein weird thing, I'm over it. I'm done.
That's exactly what somebody on the flight logs would say, Kaleb.
You're such a jackass. Can't say
Trent,
that.
You're not a Patriots fan. You won't even be watching this game. You'll have some important things to watch, like, how the Colts could make the playoffs and all that fun stuff, assuming that things go well for you on Saturday night. But if you're a Patriots fan, if you were, what are you hoping for out of this send off for a lot of key kind of this is a send off of an era, okay?
It is. It's, they have a saying at Michigan called the team, the team, the team. If I were a Patriots fan, I'd be the biggest Tim Boyle, Trevor Siemian, Zach Wilson, whoever they're throwing out there. I'd be the biggest fan of them ever. I was jumping up and down last year when Davis Mills pulled off his best Joe Montana impression and came back and beat the Colts in Week 18. But
so you're not with me on the beat the Jets.
This is coming from the perspective of somebody who has sat through 2 suck for luck years. Obviously the second one wasn't suck for luck. I was calling it blow for Bryce. I think I'm happy with who we ended up with. But trust me, that mentality of I don't want to tank, I don't want to see the team lose, you will end up as a mediocre team for a decade and a half with that mentality. I hope you don't have to learn that the hard way. I hope the Patriots are able to get back to being competitive here soon. But me personally, I would be rooting for a loss. I don't think the Patriots are going to lose. I think with it being Bill's last game, everything you guys have already outlined.
The Jets? Not only because the Jets are bad, but Belichick hates them with a burning passion.
Yeah, if the over-under on Jets total points is less than 10, or is 10 or around 10, I'm hammering the under. I'd be shocked if they scored more than a touchdown.
And just to toss it back to the sucking for luck, the blow for Bryce conversations, the tanking conversation. One last time, because we will never talk about it again, hopefully, fingers crossed, at least for the rest of the year. Should I really be hammering for pick 2 versus pick 3 versus pick 4 versus pick 5 when I know we're going to get a quarterback? Like, what is the gap between May, Daniels, and Penix? Should I be hammering for one over the other? Because I see the appeal to all of them. I do.
I think it's more so just about wanting to solidify who your guy is without having to worry about
you can always trade up
any nonsense. Well, the problem is the price to trade up this year apparently is astronomical. Yeah. It's like what the Bears paid for Bryce Young, or the Panthers paid for Bryce Young plus apparently an extra pick or something like that. It's getting stupid.
Yeah, and you guys don't have quality players to throw into a trade like that, really. Not any you can afford to lose.
Don't do that. Don't.
Yeah.
Okay, but again, my question remains. The gap between May, between Daniels, between Penix, is it really something that I should be stressing?
Well, Penix...
Not overly. I get your perspective. The way I view it is we know we're top 5 at this point, so I don't care if they win or lose. I really just don't. I prefer a win. Obviously, I cheer.
Finally, Ryan's on board with a win.
I've said
it's only been 3 months.
I've said before I would prefer them to win football games, but I've never.
I don't know. I don't remember that. I'll have to go back and look at the film. I don't recall Ryan saying that once. Not since the Germany game has he said anything like that.
No, I said it was nice to see you win.
But you didn't want it.
I'm not anti-winning. What I'm against is honestly the idea of the Patriots doing some freaking dumb shit, which is playing well over their heads and what's the word I'm looking for? Ending up mediocre like they did with Matt Patricia. That team last year, man. That's where I'm against it a little. I want you to see you win a couple games, but do I want to see you win every? No, not this year.
I did. I didn't think they would, so I didn't pick them, but I wanted them to win.
I also wanted to see him play with some pride. That's all I've asked for as well. Play with pride.
Listen, you can't play with pride and lose on purpose.
I never said lose on purpose.
It's one or the other.
No, you can have them play with pride and still lose. Listen, look at the hat.
Just taking a few plays off. That's all.
Look at this hat right here. I watched this team.
That team is
81
just bad.
games. Suck. Absolute ass. But you know what? at the end of the day was like, listen,
that team just doesn't have talent. They're not, and
I would prefer,
they don't have talent, and they're not well coached.
And the Patriots are just fucking robust with talent.
We are greatly coached. Our defense has great talent.
Yeah,
the offense is horrible.
Yeah, we're doing so great. We're so greatly coached. We're
greatly coached defensively. We're greatly coached defensively.
Oh, congrats!
The reason we've won 5 games is because we have a good defense.
Listen.
There is no comparison between the Blue Jackets and the Patriots.
Which
there
is what
none.
I've asked for with this team, and what I'm asking for them again this year, because we're in the fucking basement again, is you play with pride. If you win, you win. You lose, you lose. I'll celebrate.
What pride is there in playing in Ohio?
I'm never anti-winning, but I do not want to see quitters. I never want to see quitting on my sports teams. That's what I hate.
Well, that's what's sucking for luck and blowing for prices. It really is. You
blow
up.
The Colts really did try both of those years. They were just that bad.
That's what I'm saying. This team wasn't bad enough to do that.
Oh, they are. Oh, I disagree.
No, I think it's very clear.
You think we could have been Panthers bad?
Roster, man.
Yes.
Then why weren't we Panthers bad?
Because you have Bill Belichick.
Thank you.
But Bill Belichick is good enough for a game or two. If you want to say there's a discernible difference between 4 wins and 2 wins, then sure, I disagree.
The problem with Belichick is the same problem with Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh. They're floor raisers, but their ceilings at this point, it's getting...
No, the ceiling on Belichick is gone. But,
glaringly obvious.
But if we were going to... Listen, like I said at the beginning of the year, there are 18 weeks. I wait all year for these 18 weeks. If we don't win
for 82 games, and guess what? We fucking stunk. So
listen, your team is just bad.
Yeah, and the Patriots after fucking week 4 were very obviously bad.
I don't know. The defense was still good. I mean, maybe they're right, and we're just a quarterback away. I don't know. They don't know.
No, dude, this roster, there's a lot of flaws, and I think those flaws with a smart offseason, you have $100 million in cap space. You're going to have really good draft picks.
I don't know. I just don't get why it should be sweating 2 versus 5.
I'm saying more so. I would have, if you're going to do it, you should have did it much earlier in the year.
Listen, if we were going to truly tank, you do it by trading players, not just by sucking.
Which
you
they
do it by getting rid of the talent.
If you weren't going to re-up any of these guys like Duggar and shit and like Uche, you should have traded them. I'm sorry.
No, we were on the same. We were on the same page there.
That's terrible business.
I think I think there's a discernible difference between Williams and May and the rest of the field. Personally,
well, listen, Williams, he's gone at 1. No matter who, he's going to be gone one way or the other. He's not even sniffing Foxboro.
I don't know.
I wouldn't say that. I think Drake May is going to demolish the combine. I think his stock is going to be way up after the combine, and I think Williams. I
didn't even really want Williams anyway. I don't think he survived here.
I think personally, if you have the 4th pick or the 5th pick, you're reaching. If you go for Michael Penix, who's been playing college football since Edward Snowden was in the United States, and Jaden Daniels, who's been throwing to Malik Neighbors and just in track meets against bad SEC defenses the entire year.
Jaden Daniels in college threw a touchdown to Brandon Ayuk. Fun fact.
Yeah. He's also been playing college football since World War II. That's why I would.
He's a week younger than me, and I feel bad. I feel like an absolute piece of shit for being like, this guy's a geriatric.
They're both going to be a year older than Anthony Richardson next year as rookies.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be spending a high first round pick on either.
Anthony Richardson's a 2002. Daniels and Penix are 2000.
So. I'm very open to the idea of getting Daniels or Penix and being okay with it, keeping Zappy / getting a veteran and building it slow. I'm okay with that. If that's the way we're gonna go with a new coach, a new administration, I'm very much okay with that route.
I have a hot take.
What? Because we still have picks. We need to hurry.
If Michael Penix dominates and wins the national championship game, he goes first overall.
Ooh.
I'm gonna say that right
Spicy.
now.
I don't know if that'll happen with the two knee injuries and age.
Dude,
I don't know.
Joe Burrow, man. was a 24-year-old prospect too.
I don't know. Joe Burrow was I don't know. I don't want to say can't miss, but
I think the team, the Bears or whatever team picking there is gonna take a bite on, like, they're gonna take the cheese. Should they? Honestly, I think Penix is worth a top 5 pick with the way he's playing, man.
I agree.
You take the cheese. But
I agree.
I think every single draft,
but top 5,
like
yeah. If we pick at 5 and Penix is there, and I'm okay with that.
Run to the podium.
I'm okay with that. I am.
Yeah,
I'm very okay with that.
I just think, I feel like a team is going to take the cheese if Penix dominates in the national title game. Sorry, Trent, you can ear him up because you're a Michigan fan, but, like, you know what I mean? Like,
no, I think
just a Burrow type of, like, thrashing where they just they just boat race Michigan. I could really see that helium rise, especially if he interviews well. That helium could really rise to, like, number 1.
And maybe in that dream scenario, but top 5, I think that's very plausible, and I don't think it's a bad pick.
Yeah.
Even if he has just a pedestrian day in the national championship game, because Michigan's defense is admirably very good. They
are.
Okay, we got picks.
All right.
We gotta hurry. We got picks. In week 17, I beat Ryan with a score of 11-10. It's a new week, new year, end of the year. We got a playoff machine up. We're gonna talk about what these playoffs are. When we're done, I do have damn it, they closed out. I had the playoff clinching scenarios on my phone. We'll go ahead and pull that back up. Trent, you ready to play along with us?
Yep.
All right. First game up is Pittsburgh at Baltimore. The Pittsburgh Steelers can clinch a playoff with a win and a Buffalo loss, a win and a Jacksonville loss, a win and a Houston-Indy tie, Pittsburgh tie, a Jax loss, and a Houston-Indy not tie finish. Okay, that's weird. Pittsburgh, they can get in, but they need some help. Let's just put it that way. Baltimore already clinched their resting starters. I am taking the Steelers. Ryan?
I'm taking Pittsburgh, an underrated storyline. They basically sent Pickett to the bench.
Yeah. We should have went over that. Trent?
We should have.
Steelers, Baltimore bench warmers aren't going to do anything against that defense. So I would be pretty surprised if Baltimore won that game.
Alrighty. Up next, Houston at Indy. Houston can get in with a win and a Jacksonville loss or tie. Wait, that's just for they clinch the division. They can clinch a playoff berth by just winning.
Yep.
All right. And for the Colts, they need some help. They need a win and a Jacksonville loss or a tie and a Jacksonville loss. So they're fingers crossed that they're losing to Tennessee for you, Trent. I'm taking the Colts at home.
Well, wait, hold on. Are you saying get in the playoffs in general or win the division?
Oh, that's the division. My bad. They also win and in. I'm sorry. If you saw the tweet I'm looking at, they make it like very small. Like they say, here's how they win the division, and then even smaller, here's how they just get in the playoffs. And I just completely ignored it. Okay, they win and in.
Colts Texans is a legit just playoff game. Winning you're in, you're out. Period.
Game 163 for all you baseball fans.
Yeah,
I'm taking India home. I don't know why. I feel good about that, but I don't know. I'm rocking with the Magic. I think the Colts got a little bit of a lightning in the bottle here with Minshew. I don't know. I feel pretty good about that. Maybe that's just me looking out for Trent, but I feel okay about that. Sure, Ryan, I assume you're taking Houston by the shit-eating grin on your face.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a Columbus, Ohio legend, my guy, C.J. Stroud. Let's ride, baby. Let's go.
And he's cursed. All right, Trent.
Well, I was going to say, first off, I mean, guys, if we just want to clap it up for C.J. Stroud, his first time playing at Lucas Oil Stadium, played 3 years at Ohio State, never got a chance to go.
Oh, congrats.
I don't know who could have been.
Luckily for Michigan, they won a lot of national titles during that span, too.
Did you see that? I got moved. That's what just happened. No, C.J. Stroud, first time playing at Lucas Oil. I'm sure it's going to be a big moment for him. But no, this game scares me because we killed the Texans in I can't remember if it was week 2 or 3.
I think it was 2.
Yeah, 2. We smoked them. Houston's gotten so much better. Than Stroud in particular has gotten so much better since then.
This game would be crazy if Anthony Richardson was healthy.
Oh my! I don't even want to
Rookie
think
versus
about
rookie. That'd be like the picture of like Stone Cold Steve Austin versus The Rock.
it. Yeah, literally, yeah, it would be crazy. Hopefully next year. Oh, by the way, also the Colts. I can't tell you how many times the Colts have ended up in winning you're in like week 17/18 playoff games since I've been alive, but we went to like 3. You know how they'll like flex a game that's like important for playoff. The Colts have had that happen like 4 times in the last 10 years. It's weird, but anyway.
Well, it's crazy because in the last 4 or 5 years, the Patriots have been flexed out of those games. But
I am gonna be there. And I am very superstitious. The Colts have literally gotten smoked every game I've ever went to outside of the first game I went to, which was Peyton Manning's last game as a Colt, which was even worse for other reasons, obviously. I'm gonna go Indy because I think Indy's a better team in just about any way, and I think Minshew, while I'm not the biggest Minshew fan, I think he's a baller. I think we pull it out.
Just a gamer. That's all you need. Somebody who knows that you can rise to the occasion and play to the stakes. So, Ryan, I should inform you how this playoff machine is going to go. With these games, Trent is just going to pick the team that got the most votes. So in this case, it's Indy that goes on to the playoffs. Just so you don't feel like you're getting gypped or anything. Up next, the Cleveland Browns, who are resting starters. They're going to be playing the Cincinnati Bengals, who have also been seemingly resting starters since Joe Burrow got hurt. I'm taking Cleveland regardless. The Bengals are so uninspiring. They're so uninspiring. They're boring. I want nothing to do with them. Give me the Browns backups. Maybe that's a weird take by me, but Ryan, what do you think?
No, give me Cincy. I don't have much faith in Jeff Driscoll, quite frankly. It's a mid off though right now. That's all I'll say.
Trent?
I'll go Cincy too. You almost swung me at the end, but I feel like Cincinnati is going to be playing for pride. You know, this has been such a disappointing season.
And Cleveland couldn't care less. They're in.
Pretty much, yeah.
No room for up, and I mean, if they go down, I mean, it's just whatever. Are they locked into that 5 seed? Is that where they are? Okay, so they're not going anywhere. Okay.
Nope.
Yeah.
Good. All right, up next, the Minnesota Vikings. If I told you guys that they could still make the playoffs, would you believe me?
Yeah.
Because they can.
Because
the NFC North is a little bit weird. The
Detroit Lions, they're locked. They don't care. They're locked in. They got their home playoff game first time in however many years. But Minnesota still got something to play for, but they need a lot of help. They need They need to win, obviously. They need the Packers to lose. They need Seattle to lose. And they need either Tampa or New Orleans to lose. So, that being said, Nick Mullins is starting at quarterback for the Minnesota Vikings this week. Not a great showing since we last saw him. Jaron Hall, I guess, was even worse. Detroit resting starters. Dude, who's playing quarterback for them now? Is it what's his face over there? Does anybody know Detroit's backup behind Goff?
Is it not David Blau still?
I thought he was long gone.
Might be.
I don't even know.
Lions.
Oh, it's Teddy. It's Teddy.
Teddy Bridgewater.
Oh, it is Teddy. That's right.
Oh. How
I forgot Teddy Bridgewater.
Dude, Vikings fans would be so distraught if they lost at the hands of Teddy Bridgewater. Oh. I'll take Minnesota. I think they're just gonna want it more. And Teddy, I don't know if Teddy has the heart in him to rip out rip out Vikings fans' hearts.
This is Teddy Bridgewater's last NFL game ever, barring.
Oh no! Oh my God!
He said he's retiring.
This is the highest stake 1:00 game.
So I am gonna take Teddy Bridgewater in one last game, one last dance to beat the Vikings and knock them out and break their hearts after they gave up on him for Kirk Cousins.
This game makes me uncomfortable. It does. Trent?
I'm going with the Lions. I think Teddy's going to be fired up. The team's going to be fired up for him. I don't see them losing to Nick Mullins.
Also, the Lions are pissed off after last week, so.
Oh, yeah, that too.
That's another thing we forgot to mention.
Fuck
controversy.
babies.
And
Grow
they can
up.
still get the 2 seed. They're not officially locked in.
They actively tried to deceive referees and got mad when they were all confused. Like their trick worked out so well that they confused the referees. Like, oh, well, look at that, we got screwed again. The refs,
Well, it didn't help that the referees tried to lie about it.
What do you mean lie about
what
it?
actually happened?
What do you mean lie about it?
They were trying to say that they said something other than what they said when there was audio and video proof.
All I know is they had 3 guys run up to this referee and do like, oh, well, like I'm going to report eligible, but I'm actually not going to do anything. But then they have this guy do something, but he actually didn't do something. And then they go throw the touchdown and then wonder why everything's all confused with the referee. I mean, I get it. The big fat man touchdown with the ineligible receivers. It's cool. Whatever. Yay. Yippee. I know the Patriots did it against Harbaugh. What was it? Like a decade ago, 11 years ago, whatever.
Literally
the hell it was.
a decade ago. 2014 was 10 years ago. People.
I don't care. The ineligible receiver bullcrap. That's not why I watch football. It's antiquated.
It's so
it's
stupid.
gross.
Thanks, John Harbaugh.
You have 5 fat guys who are there to block, and then 3 fast guys out there to catch, and that's it. That's all I care about. These
that's the most boomer thing I've ever heard.
I don't care. I so don't care. I don't care. Lions fans, grow up. You're a bunch of babies. Bunch of babies.
I will say there is not a team in the league that gets clearly and obviously gypped by the refs more than the Lions.
That's true. But this case, I really don't care. Usually it's like, oh, well, bad referees, good teams overcome it. This, I don't care. I really don't.
I will say they should not have kept on going for it after.
You got cute with your whole, we're going to deceive the Cowboys because we're all sneaky. And what did you expect to happen? It was.
The refs did know about the play beforehand. They knew what was happening. They just tried to say they didn't do it right because they went over it with them before the game started.
I don't know. I did. This must be new information to me. Okay. This Trent's gonna be watching this game closely too. Jacksonville at Tennessee. Jacksonville clinches the division by just winning, or if they tie and then Indy and Houston ties. Weird. Imagine that. That'd be so disappointing if that's how that division ended. But to clinch the playoff berth, if they tie, they need a Pittsburgh loss, or if they lose, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so this is all if they tie. If they tie, they need a Pittsburgh loss, or this is all weird. Okay, Jacksonville winning in. If you lose to the Titans, you don't deserve to be there. Let's just put it that way. I'm taking Jacksonville. They're going to want it more. I mean, Vrabel, he had that press conference. He was all pissed off and mean. That's going to play a factor into it. Will Levis is still out, I believe. I think Tannehill is going to be closing out this season. Give me the Jaguars. You can't lose this. You can't. Ryan, what do you think?
You can't lose it, but knowing the spirit of the Jaguars,
they're going.
Mike Vrabel and maybe his last game ever coaching.
I don't buy that for a minute.
Ryan Tannehill, probably his last game starting, barring injuries. I think they're going to go in with the upset, and this could also an interesting one here. This could be Derrick Henry's last game as a Titan as well. There could be a lot of on the line for Tennessee here that,
Tennessee needs to blow it up.
A lot emotionally. So
Tennessee needs to blow it up. Trent, what do you think?
I think they are.
I think Tennessee would love nothing more than to play spoiler, and they're going to come in fired up. I'm going to pick Jacksonville because it just comes down to if Jacksonville comes in and their heads aren't up their rear ends, they're going to be fine. But if Jacksonville has one of those games that they've had way too often over the last 2 months and they come in and mess around, Tennessee is more than good enough to beat them, even with Tannehill at quarterback. So I'll take Jacksonville, but if I was a Jags fan, I would not feel confident about that at all.
You're sweating this one.
Yep.
All right, we're going to skip Jets in New England as usual. We're going to go right to the battle of the NFC South. The Atlanta Falcons at the Superdome. against the New Orleans Saints. Disgusting all around. New Orleans wins the division with a win and a Tampa Bay loss, but they can make the playoffs with a win, a Seattle loss or tie, and a Green Bay loss or tie. So, high stakes. Let's just call it how it is. Win it in for the New Orleans Saints-ish. No, it's not. They need some help, but they're preferring a Tampa loss, which we'll go over next. I'm picking the Saints to win this one. It's gross. Don't love it. I'll just go with the home team. I think those Saints fans are rowdy. They're gonna be roaring up that Superdome. The Falcons. They need to fire Arthur Smith now. Their only way to make the playoffs, the Falcons, is by winning this game and Tampa losing and winning the division. This is the only hope they have. There's no other route. It's going to be an intense game. It's going to end like 10-3. A lot of messy stuff going on. But give me the Saints. Trent, what do you think?
I'll go with the Saints pretty much for the same reasons you said. This is a pretty heated rivalry as far as NFL rivalries go, which I don't think NFL rivalries are all that real, but that's beside to the players, but that's besides the point. I'll go Saints, I guess. Both of these teams are gross. They're the same team.
It's all going to be irrelevant after the next game anyway.
Yeah, pretty much.
Ryan?
Yeah, give me the Saints. I don't really. Congrats on the consolation prize. Or I guess not even consolation. It's just the prize of winning, once again, the NFC South, the worst division in football.
But they're not even going to win it because Tampa is playing Carolina. Ryan?
Now, this would be quite funny for the predictions with Tampa and Carolina.
Are you okay? The floor is yours. I won't even do the window dressing.
Tampa Bay, but objectively the funniest outcome to me personally, because I don't like Tampa Bay that much, would be for the Carolina Panthers to break their hearts. It would be hilarious.
Ryan's vendetta against the Buccaneers after that old guard is gone.
Yeah, because I already went over this. You wasted my favorite athletes ever last season with a bunch of bullshit.
He shouldn't have come back.
You know what? It's not Brady's fault.
He shouldn't have come back.
You're right. He shouldn't have come back to Tampa.
I'm sitting on that.
He should have.
It was stupid of him to come back.
Shouldn't have gotten divorced. Is Giselle's witch magic?
He shouldn't have come back. He should have stayed retired.
No. I still think Brady had it in him. I don't think he was mentally all the way there. And then Tampa's incompetence.
If you're not mentally there, then don't come back.
And I know you don't want me to say the quiet part out loud, but he was kind of washed.
Yes. Wasn't great.
You look at what Tom Brady did his last year in Tampa, and you look at what Baker Mayfield has done this year, and you find a discernible difference. I'm just saying.
I'm not yelling on the podcast tonight. Trent.
I'm just saying.
Trent.
That's more of a testament, by the way, to
Trent
Baker
is
Mayfield
a certified ball knower, and he just he explained ball.
Trent.
No, Ryan's acting like he's just confidently super.
Look, am I
here.
disrespecting Tom Brady by saying
look at Brady's second last game or third last game as a Buck? Does that look like a guy that was washed to you?
His last season as a Buck? I mean, he didn't have his
second or the game against Carolina last year. Does that look like a guy that's washed to you?
Washed for his standards? Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying he was 20.
Listen, he was
Peyton Manning, but
listen, he could be Brock Purdy at 45.
He wasn't Brock Purdy at 45 though. Much better.
Yeah.
No, I stand on that. Yeah. I'm standing on business here.
Business, yeah.
He's standing on business, but his business is fucking moving porta potties.
All right, defending the greatest athlete ever.
Explain to me how Carolina wins this, Ryan. If you're so confident in that.
I said Tampa's gonna win, but
then what the hell did I even? All right, I took Tampa.
I said objectively he was doing the funniest thing ever for my vendetta would be the Bucs getting bounced by the worst team in football.
Now, you could have said that while letting me do the window dressing, Trent.
He did say that. I can't confirm he did say that.
Yeah, I said that.
Trent, you taking Tampa?
Baker Mayfield's him. Yeah, I'm taking Tampa.
I wouldn't go that far. Baker Mayfield isn't him.
He's him compared to what people said of him.
I was people who said things of him.
The Browns should call him. The Browns should tell him that they're sorry. That's what I think they should do.
Is it too late now to say sorry?
Yeah, literally.
All right. Chicago at Green Bay. Chicago, obviously. Wait, they can't make the playoffs. Can they? Make sure I get that right. No, okay, they're eliminated. Green Bay. They win and they're in.
Yep.
If they tie, or I don't think they can get in with a loss. I think if they tie, there's some other things, but win and in. Let's call it that. I'm taking Green Bay against Chicago as much as I think it would be the funniest thing ever if Jordan Love lays a dud and Justin Fields just dog walks him. But it makes the draft a lot more complicated if Justin Fields dog walks him and makes it convincing that he is worth hanging on to. I think that's a much more interesting dynamic than the Bears go out sad at Lambeau. But I don't know. I'll take Green Bay. They're a better team. Ryan, I know that you're on that Jordan Love hype train, so I won't even let you explain after you wasted 5 minutes of my life with the last game. Trent.
I'll go Green Bay. Cheesehead Cutler is on an absolute heater right now, and
Yes, sir.
I think the Packers own the Bears. They still own the Bears, whether ivermectin is there or not. They still own the Bears, so I'll go Green Bay.
Yeah, Oni Romo now in New York. Up next, the Denver Broncos and the Las Vegas Raiders. Both these teams are limited, so let's just make this quick. I believe they're both limited, right? Can the Raiders still make it?
The Raiders cannot. The Broncos
are also out. Broncos are out. All right, both are out. So let's take this quick. I'm taking the Raiders. Everybody else?
The Raiders.
Yeah, the Raiders.
Nobody believes in Stiddy. It's a damn shame. All right. Giants are out. Eagles are in. Eagles are resting starters. I still think. No, I can't do it. After the shit I just said about the Eagles and Jalen Hurts and all that. Actually, wait. This would prove my point. This would prove my point. Philly, I'm taking them. The backups are good enough to beat the Giants, so that just proves that Jalen Hurts is irrelevant. Fraud, not even top 10. Ryan, you taking the Giants backups, or Giants starters, or Eagles backups?
Philly.
Okay.
Eagles
are resting, right?
Elaborate or no?
Are the Eagles resting? Yes, they are.
They can't. The only way they can move is if Dallas loses to Washington and they win.
Yeah, that's not happening.
Probably not.
But they gave that game the 425 slot. Interesting. So I imagine you're taking the Eagles too, Trent?
No, I'm taking the Giants. I'm surprised you guys aren't taking the Giants. They almost beat the Eagles 2 weeks ago. Tyrod Taylor cooked them. This is a Tyrod Taylor legacy game right now. He is going to cook them.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. My favorite noise this week. Don't feel great. Up next, the Seahawks traveling.
Wait, so hold on. Wait, Ryan, who'd you take?
He took the Philly.
Philly? Okay, so I got to change that to the Eagles then. Not that it changes anything, but.
No. Seattle, they win with a Green Bay loss. They're in the playoffs. God, I want it. I want Seattle in the playoffs. I want to see DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and that whole operation. I want to see it in the playoffs. But they got to beat Arizona first, which I think they will. Arizona playing above expectations. They could go into 2024 with some momentum. I could see this game going either way. Bitter rivalry. I remember this game back 10 years ago would have been awesome. But
yeah,
probably would have been for the division. Trent, what do you think?
I'll take Seattle, but I think
you're with me. He is a toss up.
I don't know if I'd say it's a toss up, but I've said all year that I think the Cardinals are sneaky a lot better than they're letting on.
They have 2 first-round picks this year too.
They have 2 first-round picks. They get up for big games. I mean, they've beaten the Eagles and the Cowboys this year. 2 of their 3 or 4 wins. 4 wins, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's another situation similar to the Jacksonville game where if Seattle messes around and doesn't take them seriously, I think the Cardinals would beat them, but I'll take Seattle.
Ryan?
I'm taking Arizona.
Okay.
I'll be bold enough to say it. I'll take him.
This game stinks. Blaine Gabbert and the Chiefs, Easton Stick and the Chargers. Not a lot going on in this game. I'm taking the Chiefs still. I think Chargers are bad. But
yeah, this is the ultimate kiss of shit game. Background noise at most.
Are you taking the Chargers or the Chiefs?
Chiefs.
Okay. And Trent, I think you're taking the Chargers.
I'll take the Chiefs.
Okay, great. Up next, this game, pretty interesting. Both these teams are both locked up though. So this is a preseason game. Sam Darnold versus Carson Wentz. Dude, I need Sam Darnold to light the world on fire. I do.
We need it. We need it so bad.
Dude, I will be posting highlights in the BCDL chat for weeks. Especially if the Niners get upset in the divisional round by like Dallas or something. Can you imagine the meltdown?
Yeah.
This week we are Sam Darnold.
Dude, I need it.
Yep.
I need it. Okay, but I'm taking the Niners backups over the Rams backups. Anybody disagree?
I'm going San Fran.
I'll take the Niners.
Darnold agenda. Let's go. All right, Dallas, don't screw it up. Are they playing backups?
No, because they need to win to keep the 2 seed.
So the Eagles are saying screw it, but the Cowboys can't.
Well, here's the thing. If Dallas loses, let's say Dallas lost, then Detroit is in play for the 2 seed. Let me put into the playoff machine. If Dallas lost, Philly would be the 2 seed. If Philly and Dallas lose, Detroit is the 2 seed.
Weird.
So
I'm taking. Didn't Dallas fumble this game last year? Like, wasn't it the same scenario
I think they,
almost?
Lost to Washington or like
Sam Howell's debut.
I don't.
This would be another objectively funny outcome, and you know what? I'm going to take Dallas, but it wouldn't shock me if Rivera gets up for this game.
Yeah, I'm also taking Dallas. Trent?
I'm taking Dallas, but the fact that it's on the road and Sam Howell is a habitual superstar, I wouldn't rule it out completely, but if Dallas doesn't win this game, I hope they lose round 1 to whoever they play. You guys know how big of a Dak Prescott guy I am. I'm so sick of this team. I'm so sick of Mike McCarthy. If they can't win this game, just give the conference to San Francisco or Detroit, and let's just get on with it.
All right.
Alrighty. So, Sunday night football. All right. Buffalo at Miami. AFC East on the line. For Buffalo, the playoffs on the line. Miami locked in, ready to go. I think Miami would much rather play that first playoff game at home. I don't know about you guys, but there's no way Miami doesn't get up for this game, but there's no way Buffalo doesn't either.
Before we predict, do you guys want to know what the games look like for each outcome?
Sure.
So if Buffalo wins, they would host Indianapolis, assuming what we predicted happens. Buffalo would host Indianapolis. Miami would travel to Arrowhead in round 1. If Miami wins, Miami hosts Pittsburgh in round 1 as the 2 seed. Buffalo is out of the playoffs. So, if this scenario, the way we predicted it, the averaged out way we predicted it, if it all falls through, Buffalo is either the 2 seed if they win, or they're out of the playoffs if they lose. So,
and that's why Miami is winning. Buffalo, no playoffs for you. And my score 23-20, 43 points total score. Ryan, what do you think? What's the score?
I'm gonna take Miami.
Oh, what's the score?
I've got a score of 31-24.
For a total of 57?
Yeah.
No, 55. 55.
55.
Can't do
My
math.
brain.
Foxboro beat math. All right. Trent, what do you think?
This is probably the hardest game to predict of the day because they're the two most Jekyll and Hyde teams in the whole league. Buffalo, like we talked about earlier, 1 second they're down 30, down to Easton Stick with less than 30 seconds left in the game. The next second they're beating the Kansas City Chiefs in Arrowhead. And then Miami, kicks the tar out of every bad team they play, which Buffalo's occasionally a bad team. And then anytime they play a good team, they get the snot kicked out of them. And then Miami, I think I saw a stat on Cowherd saying they were 1-9 in their last 10 against Buffalo. So I'll pick Miami because I think the nerves are going to get to Buffalo like they always get to Buffalo, seemingly. And I'll pick the Dolphins, but I don't feel great about it.
You see the about Tyreek Hill? Tyreek Hill's house caught on fire today?
Yeah, that was weird. Everybody's okay though.
Yeah. But he had a boot on his foot from that ankle sprain. Tyreek might not play. That would be
If Tyreek doesn't play, I'm picking Buffalo.
Yeah. But you gotta imagine
that you kind of have to gut it out.
Yeah. Especially if he's chasing 2,000.
Which I don't think he'll get unless he's like 300 yards.
Is it? Is that how far it's fallen?
I think it's like I think he's at 1,700.
Yeah.
Tough.
He's fallen behind the last few weeks.
Yeah, because the injuries. They've caught up.
But, I mean, if you're Miami, though, you've already clinched a playoff spot. Is it worth losing Tyreek for the entire postseason just to
host a playoff game? Yeah. I mean, how? Especially if they're going to go to Arrowhead, if in our lineup here.
Yeah.
They're vulnerable over there.
Yeah,
I know Kansas City wouldn't want to play Mike.
No.
Take over.
No, okay. So, with all that being said, let's talk about the most important game on the docket. The New York Jets traveling to a snowy Foxboro, Massachusetts, Gillette Stadium for Belichick's possibly final game as a New England Patriot. Patriots, Jets, tale of his time. And here's where my surprise comes in. Remember back in Germany that week, I said I wasn't picking the Patriots the rest of the year. It's a new year. Give me the Patriots. 38-3. Sticking with it. Belichick's last game is a big FU to the Jets. I love it. That's about as ceremonious as it gets because the next week's going to be ugly.
I got New England 10-3.
Damn. Remember my favorite Patriots Jets game? The Cam Newton game. The last game of 2020. Dude, he caught Cam Newton. Didn't he catch 2 touchdowns?
I thought he threw one to like Asiasi or whatever.
And I thought he caught 2. I don't know. I don't remember. It was a fun game. It was a fun game. Perfect way to send off that bad year. I miss Cam Newton. Hope he's well. Trent?
I'll go New England. I think it is going to be a much bigger game for them than it is going to be for New York for the reasons we've went over multiple times now. 20-6 about. I think Zappy's got enough juice to get him into the end zone a few times. I would be surprised if New York finds the end zone more than once at most. So I'll take the Pats 20-6.
And over the loudspeakers at Gillette Stadium, this is our house. Whatever band made that. Assuming the Patriots, it could be Bon Jovi. I don't know who made "This Is Our House," but somebody find that out for me. But all that being said, it's been a long season. It's been a long 2023. It's finally come to an end, boys. Trent, thanks for joining. Ryan, thanks for being here. We're gonna have an announcement at some point here pretty soon about some news that I broke with you guys earlier today. So stay in tune for that. Watch the Patriots on Sunday. Stay safe. Stay safe in the snow. So if you're traveling to the game, just like I said, be safe. One way in, one way out over there at Gillette. You've been listening to the Foxboro BeatCast. Thank you for listening. Like, subscribe, follow, comment, subscribe. You know the deal. And for one last time in 2024, say it with me, Ryan. Go Patriots, baby.
Yeah, go Patriots, yeah.
And shout out to Trent, Michigan. Get her done.
Go blue, baby.
UW, baby. UW.
Oh, great. We're going to end the podcast with conflict. Thank you for listening to the Foxboro BeatCast. We will see you all next week for the kickoff of the playoffs.
Thanks for tuning in to this edition of the Foxboro BeatCast. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow us on Facebook and Instagram.